All right, well, hi everyone. My name is Courtney Tashjian, and today we are sitting with Mr. Frank Brenes himself. He is the Regional Agency Director at Symmetry Financial, and we're here today to talk about mortgage protection insurance. A lot of people, I think, get this confused with homeowners insurance, and we just wanted to make a short and sweet video, just kind of explaining what it is. It's pretty simple and straightforward, so we wanted to share that with you, as well as the perks and some of the misconceptions. So hi, Frank. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I always love chatting with you. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. You know, like I said, let's talk about how this is not homeowners insurance. It's something else. Just briefly, can you explain what mortgage protection is and what some of the benefits are?
Yeah, absolutely. So mortgage protection insurance is a type of term insurance that is designed to specifically to pay off your mortgage. So that's an event of death and also illness and sickness, okay? So it functions like a standard term life policy, and then you purchase it for a set period of time, whether it's 15, 20, or 30 years, same thing. You make monthly payments on it, and if God forbid, if anything were to happen to you, that's designed to pay off the mortgage of what you owe. Not how much the house is worth, but the actual mortgage on what you owe.
Right, because at the end of the day, the bank is just going to want the next mortgage payment, and that helps keep, you know, your family in the home.
Yeah, so it ensures that your family could stay in their home too, because let's face it, your biggest asset, especially here in Southern California, is probably going to be your home.
Definitely.
And you work your whole life for it, and for a disease or for an accident, God forbid, that can take that whole, that whole life's worth of work away, which is your home. And why do we work, right? Why do we work? We work to help our children. We work to leave a legacy behind, so it leaves a better place than when you were here. And I think this is very specific to that.
Definitely. Well, I wanted to kind of expand on one thing you just mentioned. Obviously, when people hear life insurance, they kind of think of death. Okay, I'm covered in the case of my death. But you did talk about some illnesses that qualify. And I think this is huge, because this is what the newer insurance are covering. They're covering what are called living benefits, meaning you don't have to die before you get that coverage and that protection that you need. So, Frank, could you explain a little bit more about what these living benefits cover and kind of what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. They're actually an advancement of your death benefit. So technically, it's still going off of the amount that you signed up for. So yeah, the first one that's very important. There's three that are super important, but the first one you talked about is chronic illness rider. Okay, and I'm going to try to eliminate all the insurance talk. Basically, what that means, if you can't perform 2 daily living activities out of the 6, which are, feeding, bathing, going to the restroom on your own. These are considered living benefits. If you can't perform 2 of those, this will kick in. And what it does, it pays out a small percentage. It's about 2% of the death benefit that you had on your policy. And in this case, if it's your mortgage, if it's $600,000, 2% of 600,000 is about $12,000 a month that you would get on that. Now, that is designed, it goes directly to you or your beneficiary, and that's designed to pay the mortgage and then pay for living expenses that you have around the house, So that's the first one, the chronic illness rider. The second one is something that's very important. It's called a critical illness or critical injury rider, okay? Very important to understand what this is. See, the thing is, in America, you're going to have, out of every 10 Americans, 7 of them after the age of 60 are going to suffer from these critical illnesses, okay? And you guys close your eyes, right? Someone in your family has suffered from one of these, because I have them, right? It's cancer, heart attack, stroke.
Okay. So common.
Exactly. So out of 10 Americans, 7 of them will suffer from that. And what this program does, it will basically advance up to 95% of that, in this example that I gave of that $600,000. and the 5% is left for final expenses. But so if you, let's say you recover, it's your policy, that's yours, that's your money to keep. All right, so that's a very, very important thing, especially as you know, most Americans will survive a life event like that. However, the recovery time may take a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, may take some time. An example of that is I had a friend I went to school with, lovely friend. She was absolutely beautiful, full of life. She had a stroke. And she had a stroke at about the age of 35 years old.
Wow.
It took her a year and 8 months to be up and running again. What do I mean by that? After the stroke, she had to learn to speak again. She had to learn to read and speak again. And so imagine if she would have had this coverage, she would have been okay for 2, 3, 4, 5, however many years. So it's designed specifically for that.
Definitely. I mean, I had a client who had a clean bill of health, his whole family, there was no history of any sort of cardiovascular issues, and he was feeling a little bit invincible. Unfortunately, he kept putting his appointments off, and he suffered a heart attack. It was called the Widowmaker. And, I feel for him because now he can't get this coverage anymore. And, a lot of times people think they're invincible or they're young and it's not going to happen to them. And I wish it were that way, but it's just not the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very important that when you guys are looking at this, it's just nobody wants to talk about the inevitable, which is death.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not the sexy thing to talk about.
It's just not at all. People are scared. It's taboo. And so here's what I tell most of my clients. And I heard this. I'm going to steal this line from one of our associates. He said, I understand you're looking for quotes, but how many times, if God forbid, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it happens, are you going to run to your drawer, pull it out and look at your quotes, At least you'll have peace of mind that you have something that if God forbid something happened to you or your loved ones, that you're financially taken care of. So that's what I do for a living. I consider it an act of service. I love what I do. And I think we went on a tangent, but the last rider or the last option or part of the program is the terminal illness rider.
Yes.
And this is if you've been diagnosed with a terminal illness. And here's the medical diagnosis is if you have less than 12 months to live, this thing kicks in. And so you have the option to take it while you're alive. I've had clients before in the past, well, not my personal clients, but my agent's clients that got terminal illness. And they took that money and they went to do some treatment that wasn't approved by the FDA, but they had the ability to fly to Germany to get that done, and it saved their life.
Wow.
Now, can you imagine having that type of option? I mean, Courtney, imagine look, you got a terminal illness, you're pretty much dead. But imagine now having that foresight and that care for your family, that you had this in place and it had this terminal illness rider, that you're able now to take an advancement on your death benefit and go to get cured. Or maybe not even cured. What if you just want to go to Rome one day because you've never been there with your family and that's on your bucket list?
Yeah, it's totally up to your disclosure, what you want to do and your prerogative. It's really, I would have to see it to believe it before I got it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, again, when people talk to me, they say, well, is it term? Is it permanent? It really doesn't matter as long as it's designed to take care of you in case something catastrophic happens to you. Okay. So again, I'm a huge proponent of it. I own, you don't even want to know how many I own on myself, my wife, and my family. The whole family is covered. I mean, I practice what I preach pretty much.
Yeah, we do too. We've got our retirement set up through insurance. We've got everything kind of covered. So I practice what I preach too. And I mean, you mentioned, we provide this active service. I mean, we keep families in their home. These illnesses, of course, a death, I mean, these are the main reasons for foreclosures in the United States. I mean, it's terrible.
It absolutely is. And, how many times have we seen it? I know you've been out in the field. That actually I was out in the field yesterday with this lady, and her policy, she had been paying for her son's policy, and she decided not to pay for it. And literally 2 years later, her son's my age, about 45, 47 years old. He starts having headaches, and his mom says, "Honey, go into the doctor." Goes into the doctor, and they said, "You can't leave today. You have a massive tumor in your head, and we gotta. If we don't operate today, you could die,
Wow.
essentially." And she didn't have her policy anymore. Do you understand, like, how crazy that is? And so she knew the importance of that, and to keep making those premiums, because God forbid something would happen. I mean, the guy's 45 years old, super fit, ripped, you name it, and life happens. Life
It
happens.
definitely
So
happens. It
yeah,
definitely throws some curveballs at us.
yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty much it in terms of mortgage protection. We can, I guess, for another series, we can go into the more deeper stuff if you'd like.
Yeah, I know we could just tell a bunch of different case studies. Yeah, I mean, just to wrap it up, I mean, just what we covered, mortgage protection insurance is a term insurance. It covers your largest asset, which is probably your mortgage.
Yeah.
And it has living benefits that protect you in case of these catastrophic illnesses and injuries, as well, of course, a death, which most people would expect from a life insurance. There are all kinds of insurance. This is just kind of the most basic fundamental level that we offer. We did talk about a few different examples. Frank, I know you kind of have a personal story that just happened to you literally last night. So you just want to share that really quick, and that's kind of how we'll end it.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to go there.
It's always good when it's personal.
I was trying to divert. Well, last night I started getting some chest pains, and my wife's like, "Baby, you gotta go get that checked out." And I kind of ignored her, but I woke up in the morning, and as I was driving to go see a client, I had the pain again. So I called my nurse. I go to the VA hospital here in LA. I called my nurse, and she said, "Come in. Anything that is any pain of any sort, you gotta come in and check it out." I go, "But I don't drink. I don't smoke." She's like, "No, come in and check it out." So as I was driving down, I got admitted, not admitted, but I got, went into the emergency room, and I was in the little room itself with a robe. And as they're putting on, these, to do an EKG, I kind of closed my eyes and thanked the Lord, because I had in place, I thought to myself, if I were to pass away, I know that my family is going to be taken care of financially. And that meant the world to me. That brought peace of mind. And I started thinking, the business went from my head to my heart. And I knew that it affected me, right? And it impacted me. And if what my absence would look like, and that was there for them. And so I felt really, really safe, and I'm really at peace with that decision. So what I tell people is, it's not a matter of your budget. Buy as much as you can, because it's not a matter of if you die, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when you die, and that's the reality of it. The reality of it.
Well,
So
I mean, I can't, your story kind of sums it all up in one, and what we talked about. There's really nothing more I could say. I mean, it happens. And our job is just to make sure people and families are protected, and they keep a roof over their heads, and their loved ones aren't picking up the financial mess when someone leaves.
absolutely. Good news is I'm okay.
Yay! I knew that. I feel bad I should ask, but I already knew.
I'm okay. I'm here.
All right. Well, you need to stay around for much longer. All right. But at least we know you're insured.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on, Frank, before we sign off?
No, I just wanted to thank you for this platform. It's amazing. I really appreciate.
Yeah, I
appreciate
enjoyed talking to you about it.
And your husband do. Okay.
All
That's
right.
pretty much it.
All right. Thank you, Frank.
All right. Thank you.